So have you ever scrolled through RV listings and thought, what the heck is a Class C? Or why does this trailer look different than that one? Or how in the world am I ever going to make a choice? Well, you're not alone. RV shopping can feel like you're trying to decode a secret language. Today we're going to break it all down. Types of RVs, what they're good for, and what the trade-offs are. By the end of this, you should be able to start figuring out which one actually fits your lifestyle. Let's start with the basics, the tent campers. They're also called pop-ups. They're pretty lightweight and affordable and towable by smaller vehicles. So if you have an SUV already, then you're good to go. They fold down small, they crank open at the campsite. Yeah, they're super easy to store and they're cheap and they're great for first timers. But, they have their drawbacks too. They're not great in bad weather. They take some time to set up and they're really not very private. They're perfect if you want a camping feel without sleeping on the ground. Next up are teardrop trailers. Those are those tiny little retro looking campers that usually have a bed inside, sometimes a small kitchen at the back. They're super light. You can tow them with most SUVs. And they're cute. They're easy to tow. They're minimalist. However, some of them are getting larger and larger and really have more amenities. The one thing is you cannot stand up inside them. And their storage is really almost non-existent, except for the outside kitchen. There might be a place to put your shoes and a pair of pants inside, and that's basically it. They definitely do not have a bathroom. You kind of think of these like the weekend warrior camper if you just need a bed and a place to crash. That's really what they're good for. Then there's the A-frame camper. They're like a pop-up, but with hard sides. You still get compact towing, but better insulation and weather protection. They're pretty quick to set up. They're pretty lightweight, but there's still limited space and usually there's no bathroom. These are for people who want to step above tent camping, but without going full RV. Now we have truck campers. If you already have a pickup, these might be just the thing for you. They sit right in the bed of a pickup. You can go just about anywhere with them, off-road, remote campsites, fishing spots, and you can unload the camper when you don't need it. Now let's talk about travel trailers, the classic RV most people think of. They come in all sizes, from tiny little 12-footers that you can tow with an SUV to massive 40-foot rigs that need a heavy-duty truck. They're affordable compared to motorhomes because, of course, you don't have an engine. However, you do have to have a tow vehicle, so that $40,000 or $50,000 or $60,000 pickup that you buy needs to be added into the equation. There are tons of variety with this, and one of the things that people like about them is that you can unhitch at camp and use your tow vehicle for exploring. Towing these can be intimidating if you're new, and the setup takes a little bit more time. If you want flexibility and you don't mind learning to tow, travel trailers are a great starting point. And there's the big sibling to the travel trailer, and that's the fifth wheel. These hitch into the bed of a pickup truck, which makes them much more stable to tow than a bumper pull trailer. They're huge inside, some of the most spacious RVs out there, with multiple levels and even full residential style kitchens. There's tons of space, usually because they have several slide outs. They're stable with towing, and they're great for long-term or full-time living. The thing is, you'll need a truck, often a heavy-duty one, and they're tall, so not every road or campground works. If you want a house on wheels, but you don't want to drive a motorhome, fifth wheels are an amazing option. Now there is another type of trailer, and it can be either a bumper pull or a fifth wheel, and that is a toy hauler. A toy hauler is sort of a combination between a travel trailer and a garage. This provides you with a place that you can drive right into your vehicle, a motorcycle, an ATV, a golf cart, whatever happens to fit in that size trailer. So if you are a person that likes to go out into the dunes on the weekend and take your dune buggy with you, a toy hauler may just be the exact perfect thing. Now moving on to motorhomes, we're going to start with the smallest, and that is the Class B camper van. You think of them like a regular van that have been converted into tiny homes. Now I'm going to make the distinction here between a Class B camper van and a Class B motorhome because they are different. The Class B camper van is usually something that has been converted aftermarket, and there are many companies all over the country that do this. They make beautiful interiors, very custom. The Class B motorhome from a manufacturer in the States or Canada, well, they're just like a downsized large motorhome. So it's got everything in it. It'll have your beds and your refrigerators and your toilets and your showers and TVs. Everything won't be in it. It will just be in the small footprint of a van. And usually these Class B's motorhomes, you can go in and stand up straight in those without any problem at all. So that's the difference between the Class B camper van and the Class B motorhome. The last category of Class B is the Class B Plus. Now these rigs are kind of the middle child, a little bigger than the camper van, built on a cutaway chassis. Here is a side-by-side image. The white one is the Class B Plus, and the darker one is the Class B. So now you can see the difference. They usually have more storage, a full bathroom, and a little bit more comfort. They have more space without being too big because they have slides on them normally. And that increases your floor space and makes it feel more comfortable. They are not quite as nimble as a van, but they're still smaller than a Class C. And if you want comfort, but you don't want to wrangle a huge rig, this is a sweet spot. The Class C motorhomes are the Goldilocks of RVs. Not too big, not too small. You'll recognize them by that cab over bunk that sticks out above the driver's seat. They're great for families. They have a lot of space and they have a lot of beds, and they are more affordable than a Class A. They're not as luxurious, and there's still a learning curve for driving and parking them. But if you want a balance between comfort and drivability, a Class C is where a lot of people land. There are trade-offs. They have smaller tanks, the freshwater, gray water, black water, and there's less storage than a Class A, but some of them have a good-sized storage in the back underneath the bed. Overall, it's a great middle ground option. And finally, the big boys, the Class A motorhomes. Now these are bus-style rigs loaded with amenities, and they feel like apartments on wheels. They have a huge living space. They normally have slide outs, so that even doubles your space. They have very luxury speakers with lighting and upgraded materials, and they have a smooth, soft ride. They are expensive. They have poor fuel economy, and not every campground can fit them. If you want a full time on the road and you want to bring your house with you, the Class A is the dream setup if you can handle the size and the cost. So that's the quick tour of RV types, From tiny teardrops all the way to giant Class A motorhomes, there really is something for every kind of traveler. The trick is finding out what you need: space, budget, comfort, or mobility. And here's the thing: there's no one perfect RV out there. The perfect RV is the one that fits your lifestyle, your vehicle, and the way you want to travel. Now, if you'd like more in-depth information, the real details on each type of RV, their pros and cons, towing setup, safety tips, I've put together a private community where we go deep into all of this. It's on School, and here's the exciting part: you'll be one of the first members helping create an educational community just for solo women RVers. So if that sounds like your vibe, check the link below, join us, get your lesson and your free worksheet to help you determine which type of RV suits your lifestyle best. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.